And we're continuing our series of teacher voices. And now we're going to talk to Michelle Grace. She's a teacher at Oscar Smith High School, a teacher of all things science, it seems. And we'll talk to her about that. And she's also the High School Teacher of the Year. So it's a real pleasure to be talking to you today. Michelle, how are you handling this personally? How are things around the house?
We've been taking it step by step. We're doing well. So my husband and I have 3 kids. We have a 5th grader, we have a 3rd grader, and then we have an almost 2-year-old. So my husband, he's active duty. He works at the hospital. So it's mostly the kids and I during the day. So we've kind of come up with a schedule, basically, to be honest, around the baby schedule is how we work things out, and to kind of get things done, because it's normally just the 4 of us during the day.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, that age kids, I would have trouble managing that regardless of the pandemic. So congratulations to you on that. So tell me, I said just about all things science. Tell me what you teach. We were talking about that earlier.
So I teach biology, and I also teach biology for the pre-diploma students in the IB program. And then I teach anatomy and physiology, and then I also teach earth and space science.
Wow. And so you're continuing to do that in the virtual space?
I do, yes. So this semester I don't have anatomy. So I did meet with my co-partner in anatomy and help develop lessons for her. So we flip-flop, and I teach anatomy in the fall, and she has it in the spring. But we created all the lessons and things like that so that our kids could get as much of the anatomy curriculum as they could, even virtually.
Yeah. So how, specifically, what kinds of activities, what are they able to do? What kind of assignments are they getting?
For anatomy specifically, we try to do as many virtual labs as we can. We do have, a few students who don't have the ability to get online. So we create packets for them, which is mostly reading and some manipulatives, some things that they could perhaps cut out or build. As far as the students who do have internet, we have some virtual dissections and virtual labs that they can do. So they have a reading to go with it. They'll answer some questions, and then they get to participate in kind of an online lab experience.
Okay. So generally speaking, your students, I mean, they're older kids.
They are.
How are they managing? How are they? How do they seem in general to be managing? I know that technology.
I think in general, our kids are taking it.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I'm sorry. I think there was a delay. So I think in general, our kids have been taking it pretty well. So we have most kids are logging in and trying to do their assignments. We have some kids, who will call and say they're having issues. I had one call me this week, and she just broke down, one of my other students, and she just said, I just can't do this without you. I learned from the way you teach. It's really hard to take it off the page. So I just made some time for her to sit down, and I said, well, let's hop on Google Meet and let's try to figure some of this out. So I threw, you can see this morning's lesson on the wall. So we just threw a paper, on the wall, and I walked her through the things, that she was getting stuck on. But I mean, most of our kids are doing really well. They're trying. We have a few kids that we have to follow up with a little more than normal, because we're not seeing them every day to remind them about their assignments. But I think they're doing pretty good under the circumstances.
Oh, wow. That's great. What are some of the positives that you've gotten out of this? A lot of people say they've gotten a lot of professional development, learning the technology, but you may have already known that. What are some of the bright spots for you that maybe you didn't expect operating this environment?
Yeah, well, I think professional development is a big one. I have an awesome team and wonderful colleagues at Smith. We're a really tight-knit group. But I think for one thing, particularly for me being on 3 different teams this spring, is I meet with them individually, and we really come up with the best lessons for our population of kids. So we, instead of doing generic lessons, we come up with lessons like for my pre-diploma students, we come up with lessons for our inclusion kids, we come up with lessons on how to adapt them, but there's multiple brains working on all of that at once. And so that has brought us closer together, kind of working on how to tweak those, things. For earth science, something we've done is like a choice board. So we're coming up with 6 different activities, and the kids get to choose which one kind of best fits them to be able to turn in. So we're really coming together as a team to try to make this experience as painless as possible for our kids, and that they can kind of demonstrate their strengths through this.
Wow. What do you have any advice for parents? I know that your kids, you probably don't have to talk to parents a lot, unlike our primary teachers, of course. So kindergartners don't have cell phones generally. So what advice would you have for your high school students and their parents?
Yeah, I think, a big thing is even with, my kids on the computer and things, we try to schedule, there's family time, there's computer time, there's social time, and to be patient, with your kids. I would tell my kids, be patient with your parents. It's a learning curve for everybody. And just because you have kids who excelled in the classroom doesn't mean they're necessarily excelling online, or vice versa. Some kids surprise you, and the ones who you kind of follow up in the classroom are like acing this online thing, and they're getting on. And but I tell them all the time, touch base with your parents touch base with your child so you kind of know what they're working on. I know my 3rd grader is my hardest challenge here at home, where he either is all focused and wants to sit down and like do it all at once, but then gets frustrated that he's not doing it in what he thinks is the correct amount of time. So it's helped, like I said, with that schedule we have, hey buddy, you're still totally on target. Look, we've marked all of these things off your list today. You're good. So I think just kind of develop a routine and have those conversations with each other, like parent to child and child to parent, about the struggles and kind of what's going on. Give each other a little bit of grace.
Yeah. Wow. That's well said, Michelle Grace. I appreciate that. Look, I know you're busy. I'm going to let you get back to your work, but I really appreciate your time today. And just be assured that the parents and students and the people in the community are very appreciative of all the work.
Thank you so much. It was great speaking with you today.